done with this boot camp. That's craziness. All right, looks like it's going to go live today. That's fabulous. All right, we are live now. So anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law, and just want to make sure you're aware of that. And I want to open it up to any questions that you guys might have. Keep them short, keep them simple, because we have stuff to cover. If you have anything long and drawn out, let's save it to the end so that I can spend the time to actually answer that as well as I can. Okay, so short questions, go.
Shelly, I was asking you about the email. If you find someone that gives you a business card, that's someone that you would like to add to your email marketing, or no?
You do want to add them, but because of GDPR stuff and other, GDPR is for the European nations, but it's going to come down to us. And GDPR, they would smack you upside the head for doing something like that, manually putting them in. So we want to get good practices going for when that stuff hits our country. So the right thing to do would be to actually send them an email. And you can do that. You have to create a professional email for every single email that you have available in Mailing Boss anyway. So you go into RainLoop and you put their email in there, just in RainLoop. So you're just sending them one email. So they're not subscribed to a list. And you say, hey, I met you at so-and-so. I'd love to have you on my list so I can update you on things that are going on. And just click this link and go to fill out the opt-in form, and we'll get you on the list and updated. And that way they are choosing to be on your list. You're not forcing them to be on your list. Okay?
Got it.
Definitely that's the way to do it. That it may mean that they never join your list, right? Because then they have a choice. They may or may not. But at least you're following what needs to be followed, which is the right way to do it. Again, with GDPR coming down to Europe, it's going to filter to the US. We've already got the canned spam laws. We've already got lots of different things going on. So we're going to have to condition ourselves to do it the right way. The tempting way is to add them ourselves, right? That's the easy way. It's like, ooh, I met them. They're a good guy. I'm going to go ahead and add them. But what you should do is make them go through those things they have to do to confirm, to verify that they're actually a part of your group. And I know personally, I would like that better too. If I gave you a card at a meeting and then you put me on your list, I might be a little offended. Right?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions, you guys? All right, so fabulous. We're going to jump into the body of the email today, and we're also going to talk about the footer today as well. So this probably won't be as long as yesterday. We went like 3 hours and 15 minutes yesterday. I'm telling you guys, I'm getting good at talking. I was already really good, but I'm like getting better and better at just talking. I'm not even sure I'm saying anything of value anymore once we do 3 hours. But it was actually really fun because there were some great questions. And there's just sometimes no way I can perceive what you guys are thinking in your brains on what questions you may have about email and email marketing. So it was fabulous to hear your questions. And it was even more fun for me to actually share what I know. And then we had several people that shared what they know as well. So it was a fabulous experience for me. And I hope it was for you guys too, even though we kept going. And Dominic cracked me up because he was like, oh my gosh, I like left and came back and you're still going. So poor Dominic, I think, was almost traumatized. But no? Okay, good. But it was a really great day. And I think there was a lot of great information. Dominic?
No. Actually, what I was saying is I have to play catch up. I had put out a few fires here, so I missed a lot of it. And I was surprised when I came back because I thought, oh man, I've missed everything. And then y'all were still going.
Yep, it's crazy. We had that on the certified partner training, that first round. We'd go 4 and 5, and we even went 6 hours. And I was there for every single training, every single day. I didn't miss a single day of training on the certified partners. And my husband would crack me up because he'd walk into the living room and he'd be like, oh my God, please tell me you're on a different webinar. And I'm like, nope, still certified partners. We're learning the crap out of this stuff. So yeah, hopefully I'm giving you some value when we do that. I'm really excited to get to spend that amount of time with you too. I think
Oh, I think we lost Shelly.
that in some of these for sure. So I'm waiting for you guys to start moving again. There we go. Am I back? Am I back? Can you see me and hear me? Did I freeze like this? All right, so I may do that some more today because the internet access is really weird. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and jump into the lesson since I don't think there's any more questions. And again, just like we've talked about before, let me get through the part that I'm teaching. When I bounce back and actually look at your eyeballs, that's usually a good time to ask me questions specifically about what we're covering. If it's not about what we're covering, put it in your parking lot, and then we will get to it at the very end. And guys, I want to show you, I am on my parking lot right here. Here's my trusty little book, and there's my parking lot right there. So I do the parking lot too. I do it every single time, and there you go. Well done, John. Well done. And that is a fabulous way to keep track of those questions, because if you guys are like me, you come up with like the $50 million question, right? And then you roll through and it's time to ask the question and you can't even remember what the question was, not even remotely, right? Or am I the only one that does that? I'm like 52, so that may be Alzheimer's. But definitely write them down and I will get to them when we are at the very end. So let's go ahead and jump in and take a look at what we're going to cover today. This is all pretty easy stuff today. You guys probably are aware of this, but we're going to kind of hash it out together. And that is the body and the footer of the email. And I found such a great graphic that I'm just going to follow this graphic because I couldn't have really organized it any better. It's not my graphic. I'm a little jealous because it's not my graphic, but we're going to take a look at it and I will put a link to it inside of the resources. So when we talk about the anatomy of an email, we've already talked about the header part and the subject line, right? And we had a lot of different things that we talked about on the subject line. And we talked about, making sure that you kept it short and simple and that you didn't use a bunch of exclamation points or a question mark with an exclamation point. It's okay to use numbers. It's okay to make it personal. You can say, hello, Shelly, inside the subject line and make it personal. So there's lots and lots of things you can do to make the subject line to the point where you're making a good impression and they really want to open the message. And the key to email is getting that email open. So we talked about that yesterday. Then we talked a little bit about the pre-header and how important it is to not only have a good subject, but the first couple lines of your message in the body actually needs to be pretty impressive as well, so that if they have a previewer on their email client, they're going to see the subject and a little bit of the email. And if you have a compelling first couple of lines, then that's going to help get it opened as well. So definitely work on the first couple lines of your email in the body. Then we talked about the from name, and the from name and address. Make sure that it is the actual name that you want to use and the address that brands your company or your personal products or your coaching or whatever it is. You want to make sure all of that is branded. So if you want to use your name, that's fine. If you want to use your company name, that's fine. But make sure you're using your domain and it's a professional domain so that they see that. If you do not put a professional verified email into Mailing Boss, it's going to use a funky email that looks crazy and is probably going to end up in spam, because the email that is the from email is not going to match everything else that's happening in your email. And that's a good trigger for the email clients to just shift that to spam. So you want to make sure that the from email is the branded email, and then the reply to address needs to be the same domain as your from email. It can say no reply at, but it needs to be the same domain as your from email. And why is that? Because the spam filters are going to take a look at what's happening with your email. And if you have, this is coming from Shelly@gmail.com, but then you've got the reply to is Shelly@ireallydon'tcare.com. Those two domains don't match, right? And the spam filters immediately knock off a point for you. And that's a good chance that you're going to get shipped to spam. So always have your from and your reply to domain name the same. That's going to help you get into the inbox as well. And now today we're going to talk about the body, the actual bulk of your email. And there's so many different things here that you can do to really create a relationship with the person that's reading your email. And to me, that's what it's all about, is creating that relationship. You want to make sure you're doing that know, like, and trust. You'll hear me say this a million times, but I'm going to say it 2 million more times because it's so important to me that you continually work on creating a know, like, and trust factor so they get to know you. Some of them will like you, but not everybody. And the ones that like you will eventually start to trust you as long as you're being your authentic self inside these emails. So the first thing that this talks about is be direct. And it says, make it easier for your customer to take action by writing concise information, concise copy. And you want to make sure that all through your email, you're being clear what you're trying to say. If you remember, we looked at a couple of emails yesterday, and one of them said, I noticed that you didn't take advantage of my deal yesterday. Well, I didn't even look at his deal yesterday, and I didn't care about his deal. And then he didn't even tell me what the deal was that I missed, right? He just left it as kind of a mystery, and I'm supposed to know what he's talking about. I can't stand being treated like that, right? So to me, he was not being clear. He was not being direct. He could have worded it so much better to make me feel like, oh, wow, I shouldn't have missed that deal. Wow, that's a great deal. I think I'll look at it today. But instead, it just kind of made me feel like I missed out because I was stupid or something. I don't know. But I didn't like the way it was worded, and I would like never word an email like that. So try to be direct and try to make it easy for your customer to figure out what you're talking about. And then if this is one that has an offer in it, they completely understand what action they have to take to be able to take advantage of that offer. There was another email I think we looked at that was like information, but no information that was of value. They just were telling me, it was an email that was just telling me, oh yeah, the answer to what the subject line said is going to be in next week's email. How does that make sense, right? If you're going to talk about a subject and then tell me this is what I'm going to tell you, but then say, yeah, I'm just kidding, not in this email. I'll give that information to you in the next email next week. That's too much. And I don't want to wait a week when the subject line says exactly what I'm supposed to get. So you want to be direct in your body and make sure that you're being clear, concise, you're giving value. And if there is some kind of action to take, you're clear about that action. And the person that's reading the email understands if they click this button, this is what's going to happen. Okay, you're doing an offer, or you're giving a free ebook, or you're giving a free course, whatever it is, you want to be very, very clear and very, very direct. The next one that I believe in 100 million% is personalize. You want to make sure that your customer's name at the minimum is in there. And Mailing Boss allows you to do that because they have those tags. So you can actually pull the first name in there. You can pull the last name in there if you collected that information. You can actually even put, I just want to verify that this is the email that you use to sign up for our list. And then you can put the email in there that they put in. So there's lots of different ways that you can personalize it. And that to me now is the name of the game. And I actually loved what Gabriel said yesterday. Gabriel mentioned that before he came to Builderall, he just thought about sell. Just get out there and sell. And now I think that he is going a different direction by what he said. And he understands that it's actually create a relationship first And then they'll actually end up wanting to buy from you. So it's not a matter of trying to say the exact right things to prompt them to buy. It's about creating a relationship so that now they want to buy from you. And when you personalize it, you're starting that relationship. I love emails that say, hello, Shelly, instead of hello, friend, or the one that we got from, I think it was Billy Darr, that just said, hey. That was a terrible opening, right? It wasn't personalized at all. So one of the keys is to personalize your emails out there by using those tags, and you're going to start building that relationship. That's, to me, that's like step one, right? Step one of building the relationship is call them by name. The next one, and this is one that Cam Jennings does so well, and that is imagery. And that's not necessarily images, like putting images in there, because even though this says imagery and it says too many visuals will overwhelm your message, I think of imagery as being very descriptive in what you're saying so that people can see it rather than just read it. And Cam Jennings is fantastic at this. Every one of his emails, you can read through it and just kind of see what's going on in his head. And I love that because it's part of telling a story, right? And if you get someone pulling into your story, you're going to, again, start creating a relationship. So I don't agree that we put images in the emails because I'm not real big about that. But I do agree that you need to create imagery with your words. Okay, that's going to bring them into your story. And it's going to develop that know, like, and trust factor because you are bringing them into whatever story you have in that email. And Cam has had some great ones, and I'll try to find a few before we leave today so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. The next one is keep it simple. This was in the subject line. You also want to keep it simple in the body of the email. A good email is usually very simple, single column, responsive layouts, and they make the content easier to digest. My favorite is exactly that. Very, very simple, one column. I don't try to pull any templates in because number one, it takes a long time to edit the templates to get them ready to go out. And I have much better things to do with my time than editing a template. I want to make money, so I'm going to spend my time on money-making stuff. And I don't think templates and making the email pretty is necessarily going to do nearly as well as if I take the time to create a very good email that's direct. It has a lot of imagery in there, which means they're reading it and they can almost see what I'm thinking. It's personalized, and I've made sure to keep it really, really simple. All that to me is just a basic text message, but a well done text message. And then if you are offering something to them, then you need to make sure that there's a call to action. Even if you're not offering them something, if you're just giving them value, put some links in there to something that's valuable. There's tons of things out there like MindMup. I think several of you guys have said that MindMup is like the bomb diggity. That's free. You can actually talk about that in one of your emails and put that link in there and say, here's where you get it for free. So now you've got an open and you've got a clicked link. Holy cow, that's increasing your reputation. Yeah, yes, right? That's exactly what we're trying to do. So even if you don't have an offer, so you don't have a link to put in there to sell them something, figure out how to get a link in there to give them something and something of value. And there are so many free things out there to be able to offer them that they may not know about. There's GIMP. So if you want to talk about photo editing and image editing, GIMP is free. MindMup is free. There's Composer, which is how to build a website. That's free. They'll get so frustrated with Composer, they'll want to buy Builderall, so that's all good. So there's so many things out there that are free that you can work into an email and give them value so that they want to open your emails and they want to click those links and see what the new thing is that David's offering, or what is the new thing that Roberto's offering. And then you go value, offer. So they'll get value, they'll get to that third email and they'll go, wait, I got to see what King George has got in his email today. And they'll get in there and there's your product that you've had for sale. By then, you've created a know, like, and trust factor. They're really excited about the stuff that you shared already. And now they're, oh, okay, so he's selling this one. Well, I trust him enough. This has got to be a good thing. He already gave me MindMap and he gave me GIMP. So I'm going to jump onto this one because I'm sure it's something of value. So that's creating that relationship with that customer. So then the next area is the footer. And in the footer, you're going to make sure that you have your contact information. And remember that there's a tag that's automatically put in there by the Mailing Boss system that has your company information for you. And then if you want any other information, you can actually add that to the bottom because that footer is editable. You can go in there and edit anything in there. You just don't want to take out the tags in there because if you take out the tags, it will not allow you to save that email. It says, nope, sorry, it's not CAN-SPAM compliant. You can't go forward. You've got to put those tags back in. Actually, it's not that descriptive. It just says, sorry, error. So if you just get a sorry error, make sure that you've got the unsubscribe tag and the company details tag in there because that might be the problem that you're having. And then a gentle reminder, and Cam is real good about this. At the end of his email, there's almost always some kind of reminder of, he runs the program called Epic Conversions, and that's usually how he gets people to sign up to his newsletter, his email subscription. But he'll gently remind them, by the way, if you haven't seen the latest Epic Conversions blog entry, don't forget to go to so-and-so and check it out. And he's got a link so that you can go check it out. If you haven't subscribed to Epic Conversions yet, here's where you can subscribe. So just a gentle reminder that you've got programs that are available if they want to check them out. So gentle reminders are actually really good. Also, you want to make sure that you remind them that they actually subscribe to your list. So that's another thing that you want to put at the end. It's like, you are a member of such and such a list, and we're always excited to have you part of our list as we share valuable tools for you to continue building and growing your business, something like that. So remind them about your programs that are your consistent programs, and then remind them where they came from. This is part of a subscriber list that they subscribe to, and they should be expecting more emails from you, okay? And then always, the last one is the unsubscribe link, and that's gonna be there automatically, and it is required by the CAN-SPAM Act in the US. So you can't get away from that, and if you try to take it off, you'll actually not be able to save your email. So those are actually some great points to be able to get your body created and your footer created. So I want to go ahead and stop sharing my screen. And any questions that you have about the body of the email and the footer of the email? No? Go ahead, Kanan. Oh, you're still muted. I can't hear you.
Yeah, clear?
Go ahead.
There is some records related with all these servers like spam words and something like that. If you repeat some spam words, that naturally it will go to spam only. I heard something like that. Is there any clarification for you regarding that? Suppose if you make free, it will go to spam.
Yeah, if you go into the resources for
that's so. What I'm asking is that do we have any guidelines or something like that? What are all the spam words or something like that? Or if you want to tell something about that?
Yes, if you go to the replay area, I think for yesterday's training, I put a couple of resources for spam words. And so it gives you a complete list. I mean, it's incredible what the list is. And it's also shocking what are spam words, because a lot of people don't realize that if you put a question mark and an exclamation point inside your subject line, it's going to ship it automatically to spam. Because the way the third-party email clients work is, why would you ask a question and answer it right in the subject? The answer is supposed to be in the body. So there shouldn't be a time in your subject that there's a question mark and an exclamation point. So that's one that'll ship it automatic. And there's so many more. Honestly, every time I look at these spam word lists, I find another word that I didn't realize was a spam word. So check those out. There's also a resource on reputation and how to increase your reputation. And Kanan, I think you had stepped out yesterday when I covered a really important point that I want to.
Actually, I didn't step out. We are having some power failure at my country, and that is why it's happening at the end. But I will definitely go through all the webinars because I can say I watched everything in YouTube, and that's why I'm not asking doubts right now. But I will watch it, club it together, all my doubts, club it together, and make at the end of the day.
Great. I did want to tell you personally though, and this was an important point, and I think everybody needs to hear it maybe a second time. And that is sometimes you'll have your email at maybe like GoDaddy, and you've been sending from GoDaddy, right? They have an email service there. And so your email, your domain is associated with the IPs at GoDaddy, right? So every time it's being received by Gmail, by Hotmail, by whatever, it's registering that domain with that IP, and then your reputation is based on that. So now we switch everything over and point those, all the servers, including the MX records, to Builderall, which is brand new IPs. So now your email goes out with a brand new IP associated with it, and now your reputation basically starts again at base level. And you're going to have to work it back up by making sure those emails get open, by links getting clicked, by making sure you don't have a high bounce rate, because it's basically like you're being registered as a brand new email. And I think I remembered you saying that you had switched servers over to Builderall. So my thoughts were that maybe that's why you might be having a spam issue of the email going into the spam box. So again, you're going to have to really work on reputation, because everything in MailingBoss is actually set correctly. But because you switched servers, IP addresses, it just kind of starts you back at the very beginning. So it may take a little bit of work. Tomorrow we'll go through what kind of work we have to do to try to get that conditioning back up so you can get into the inbox. Okay? Does that sound good? Great. Any other questions, you guys? Madeline, go ahead.
Yes, I have a question about the buying expired domains. So maybe your email have a good reputation already.
And now the domain is expired. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, is that something you can recommend, that buy expired domains and the email have already maybe a good reputation and has been around for a long time?
It's going to be the same thing as what's happening. I think I'm assuming this is happening to Kanan. Remember that wherever that domain was located, there was an IP address associated with it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if you buy an expired domain and then you maybe host all of that at Builderall, it's almost like you're kind of starting from scratch.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah. So you can rebuild it from the ground up, and actually, it's easier to build it from the ground up than it is if it's negative.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Any other questions, you guys? Gabriel, go ahead. I was just talking about you, Gabriel.
Yeah, I heard it. Love it. Thank you. I wanted to ask you, is this a good idea? I've seen this before from other people to send from different emails. I'll send you an email from today, the next couple of days, then I switch to another email and alternate from 2 different domains or 3 different domains just as a backup to the same group of people, to the same list I've seen.
I wouldn't do that.
No?
No, I wouldn't.
Not the same email. Today I'm communicating with you. I'm sending you this particular email and it's coming from this domain. And then the next couple of days, I'm sending you another one. I've seen that from big people out there. I was like, man, how come I'm getting an email today from this email and now from this? So
I've seen that too. And I think that possibly what they're trying to do is condition a new email. And if they've got a big enough list, they're trying to condition that email. I would not do that though, because that creates a sense of not trusting you, because you see a different email like every time you open your email, and it's like, what's the right email to send to this company? Plus, they may ask you to whitelist like 3 or 4 or 5 different emails, which then means that there's no telling how many emails you're going to get. You could get the same email from all different emails, right? So I definitely would not do that, because I think it fosters a lack of trust, for sure.
The reason I'm saying that is just in case, who knows, something happens with your domain, you get banned for whatever stupid reason, and now you got 10,000 people, whatever you got on your list, and now you're trying to communicate with everybody again, and now what happens? Now you got to start over.
But if that happens, you're starting over anyway. The minute that you send that different email for the first time, it's basically starting over. So why would you worry your people by having different domains when you're just trying to deal with the problem that hasn't even happened yet? So I would definitely be consistent with the emails that I send out. And most of the time, my emails that send out for any of my companies is Shelly @ and then my domain name, right?
Just remember, they sent it from 2 different, one was from GetResponse and one was from a different application, whatever. Now I remember.
Yeah, and then I definitely wouldn't trust it if they're using 2 different email providers.
Yeah.
Because then you really don't know what they're doing. I would think that they're just trying to condition another email.
That's what I'm thinking too, so, and they're big, they're not small people, you know what I mean? Small marketers, so, yeah. But I'm like, so I'm thinking, just as a backup, is that a good strategy or not? So,
I don't think so. And that's because I don't want to foster any distrust in my people. And also I want to make sure if they see Shelly @ and my domain name, they know that's me. They know that I'm going to have value. And if I ended up sending something at Shelly @ a different domain name, I think it would foster distrust.
Sorry to interrupt you, but I just saw, through the presentations here, through the trainings, I just saw that you have a bunch of domains in the Perfect Builder, whatever. Do you have emails for all these domains?
I do. That's why I have.
You are sending from everyone, don't you?
No, I'm not. Actually, for my Team Awesome, my tier 1 people all have an email that's their name @ Builderall Team Awesome. So if they want to use that email for anything, they can, and they can actually access it through webmail as well. So they can actually check that email and use it if they want to. It's just a branded email to them. And it's got our Team Awesome in there. So all of those, when we went through the switch over to have a verified domain, they actually took all of those emails and verified them for me. I didn't have to go in and manually verify all of them. So now I have this incredibly long list of all my verified emails because all of my team members have emails inside of my system. So that's why there's so many. But I do have a lot of emails besides that. So if I took all of those out, I would still have a lot of emails. Because remember, I've got my 15 domains. I'm at my limit on that account. And every single one of those domains has 3 emails. And they're all verified. And they're all of them have Shelly @ admin @ and support @. And then I have a lot of other emails like testing 1, testing 2, testing 3, testing 4. So there's many of those domains that have the testing emails as well, so that I can test my emails and I can also condition my domain.
So then the question becomes, so you got 15 emails, you got all 3 emails per domain. Obviously, you're using all these domains. Probably you have opt-in pages, etc. So when they opt into this particular domain, what do? You send them, you communicate from your main domain here? That's what I'm confused.
No. So if I've got like socialmediaexplosion.com, anybody that opts into that is going to get an email from Shelly @ socialmediaexplosion.com.
So you are communicating through that domain only, correct?
Yes.
So then what happens to my Team Awesome then?
It's a totally different domain, totally different group of people that's communicating with that one.
So then technically you are communicating with each group of people through the domain that they came through, correct?
Yes, but like my Social Media Explosion people, they're never going to get an email from me that is anything other than the socialmediaexplosion.com. So I will never send them an email from Shelly @ videoexplosionpro.com. They'll never get that email.
So just keep-
That's a totally different group. Oh, I think I froze again. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, I think I'm back. Am I back? Okay. What I was saying was, so my social media explosion people over here, they're in the socialmediaexplosion.com bubble. They only get stuff from socialmediaexplosion.com. And then my videoexplosionpro.com, they only get email from videoexplosionpro.com, no other email. I will not mix them up at all.
So whatever domain you have set up, communicate with those people. If they came through here, that's the list and the domain that you're sending them. And
That's
then
right.
you keep this up. I got it now. Okay, thank
Yep,
you.
absolutely. Another thing to remember though is remember when we set up our email and we set up our subscriber list and we had that ability to not only add them to that subscriber list, but add them to multiple lists. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Don't cross-pollinate them.
Okay.
Don't cross-pollinate them unless it's something that you need to do. But I can't imagine that there's really a need to do that. Only put them in lists that are associated with that domain. So if I've got socialmediaexplosion.com, but I've got maybe 4 different lists because I have the pros, I've got the general, I've got the freebies, I've got the who knows. So I've got 4 different lists addressing different levels of people that are on socialmediaexplosion.com. If those 4 lists need to go from socialmediaexplosion.com domain, then I can connect them. That's okay. But I'm not going to check mark one that's associated with builderallteamawesome.com and have them automatically added to that list because then I'm cross-pollinating and then I am sending from different emails and that's not good. And that could be another reason why, Gabriel, that you may be getting emails that are like from the same person but different emails because they may be cross-pollinating you to another list that's associated with a completely different email.
Okay. Yeah.
Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
And another, because the reason I'm asking this question is because I'm trying to set up different hooks, different avatars coming in, and I might use a different domain or different email, different opt-in page. And then the first 2-3 emails, I want to communicate with that particular, hey, insurance. This guy is a contractor, whatever they are, doctors, right? So the first 2-3 emails are completely for them, specifically targeted to them. But then the rest of the campaign is the same thing because I'm marketing the same product to them. So now I gotta, everything else from here on, 20 emails is for everybody, the same, right?
So here's how I would set that up, right? I would have one list that's for contractors, one list that's for plumbers. I don't know what works. Contractors, plumbers, and then main list. And so you've got these 2 lists that are specialized. And when they join these 2 lists, they're automatically copied to the main list, right? So they're on 3 lists. No, they're on 2 lists. But when you send out these messages to the specialized list, you've got them going out on immediately on day 1, and then day 2 and day 4. So then you set this main list to not ship out an email until day 8.
Correct. That's what I want.
Great. That's how you can do it. So the best way to do that is it's 3 separate lists, right? And every single person's going to be on 2 of those lists. They're going to be on their main specialized list where they'll get the first few messages. And then after that, it triggers that main list to send out afterwards.
So that's my main question is how do I how do I switch from, hey, here is your 3 emails specialized, and now I got to put you to the, everybody's list, right? So because now
it's not really a matter of switching. Just think about it this way. The specialized list, you set it to go welcome email immediately, and then the second email to go the second day, third email to go the 4th day, and then set on the main list that an email doesn't go out until the 6th day or the 8th day. So it's always going to be after the first email from the main list won't go out until after everything sends on this list.
Right, but how does it, I'm puzzled. How do I click something that when this person opts in here as a dentist, he comes also, he's being added to this list?
Yep, you can do that right on the workflow, because when you set up that specialized list, when they hit the list, you right on the subscriber list, you hit that green arrow and say, I want them copied. When they join this list, I want them copied to this other list.
Okay, so then you're setting these emails 1, 2, 3, 4, and then day 8, this is when this starts.
Yes.
Everybody starts on day 8.
They will have been on that main list. They will have been on that list the whole time. It's just that the first email doesn't go out until after everything else goes out, because that's the way you set it.
Okay. Thank you. Got it. Yeah, I meant to ask you this a couple of days ago, and I skipped my mind. And there's like
no, that's okay. That's a difficult concept to get, right? It's like, oh my gosh. But list bouncing, I call that list bouncing, when you bounce from one list to another. I absolutely love that concept, because then you've permanently got them on the specialized list. So if you want to send them special emails, you don't have to worry about tags or anything like that, because tags are really difficult when you're new. So you've got that specialized list. You can send to everybody on that list, and there's no worry. Oh my God, did I grab the right tag or whatever? And then if you want something to go out to everybody, you've got the main list that has everybody on there, and you can send out an email. So
because I'm using a hook, you know what, I'm getting them in based on something that's specific to them. Then I'm warming them up through those emails, and I'm bringing them to a common denominator, and now they're already prepped. So by the time I get them through here, everybody speaks the same language now, because they're already educated.
Yep, that's right. The biggest challenge with that, Gabriel, is going to be when you start creating those lists. It's a lot of lists. And I don't know if you've had this problem, but
I know it's
going into my list, it's like, oh my God, I can't remember what I named that stupid list. So you want to, before you start creating all those lists, come up with a naming convention so you can find them easily. So if you have that main list, and then all of the sub lists, right, that you're going to create, maybe start them with the same word, so that you can do a search and it will pull up all of those lists for everything that starts with that word, and all of those lists are related. That way you can find
not only that I do it in Mailing Boss, but I keep cheat sheets plus the mind maps.
Good. That's gonna save your life, because right now in my main account, I've got so much crapola. And honestly, when I look at it, I'm like, man, do I delete that? Is that connected to anything important? Because when I first started, I didn't know all the ins and outs and the ups and downs and the problems that you would have if you don't have a naming convention in the beginning. So that first big group of lists are just a mess. My lists later get much better and way better organized. But that first group of lists is an absolute mess. So let me teach you, because I already learned this lesson. Keep it as organized as you can now, which means start each one of those lists that are related to each other and connected to each other. Start them with the same beginning, the same word or a number or something like that. So you can do a really fast search and it pulls all of those up.
Great idea. Thank you so much. Yeah, makes sense.
Welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions, you guys? No. So would you guys like to go in and look at some example emails real quick of some body and footers? Yeah, let's have some fun with that. So let's take a look at my Yahoo account again. That's always the most fun to go into, because I have so many emails in there. So I'm going to go to Yahoo. And we're going to check out Shelly's Skydiving Diva account. So there's Skydiving Diva. And yes, I've really been skydiving. And so now I have a whole new round of emails that we can look at, because these are like all from just today, right? I have a ton of emails. So I think we talked about this guy yesterday, Stefan Ciancio, or Ciancio. And let's see what his subject line is. It says 18-100K per month methods. 18 legends are going live this week, each sharing an actual actionable method. Myself being one of them. So he's talking about it himself. So I'm not sure. Plus he's doing that 100,000 per month thing. And I don't know if that is something that is exciting to you guys, but having been in the digital marketing space for a while now, $100,000 per month is not a normal amount. And I also know that it takes a long time to get to that. So for me, this would be a very, very much a turn off email. But let's take a look inside and see what he's got. So he kept it short, that's for sure. And he said, myself being one of them, combine all of it, and $100,000 per month is not out of the question. In fact, many of these legends do significantly more than that. How about you talk to them directly online this weekend? It won't cost you anything. That's the crazy part. Then he's got the call to action. Get your spot for this weekend. Trust me, the value here for you is insane. So I guess the first question I have is, after looking at the subject line and looking at some of the email, do you guys trust him? Is there a trust factor? Do you see my name in there anywhere? No? So for me, personally, this would not be something that would attract me at all. Now, way back in the beginning of my digital marketing, maybe, right? Because I would have still been under those rose-colored glasses, thinking that $100,000 per month would be an easy thing to do, right? You guys all been there. I know you have. We've all been there. So maybe this would have been something that I would have entertained to look at. But with the glasses that I have on now, which are very clear, I know that this is just pure marketing. It's not trying to do anything good for me. It's actually pure marketing, and I don't fall for it anymore. So let me stop sharing and let me get your input of what you think. What do you think? Anybody?
I don't, I get a lot of these emails, and I've been doing unsubscribe, but I'm still getting a ton of it, Shelly. Mm-hmm. And my question would be, is there any way we can do I don't know, call a suppression list or something I heard on our server side, on the domain side, on GoDaddy or whatever your hosting company is, and just block these people without even hitting your inbox anymore?
Usually
is there a solution like that, or?
Yeah, usually you can just right click it and call it spam after you've unsubscribed. Don't do this until you've unsubscribed and you're still getting. But if you unsubscribe and you're still getting, right click them and say, call this spam, or whatever it is that it says. And it will ship it right to spam. The problem is that, oh, I just made money, yay me. The problem is that they're doing exactly what we can do, which is when you subscribe to their list, they have that same little capability of subscribing you to 10, 20, 30 other lists. And they do that. So when you think you've unsubscribed and you've taken care of the problem, you actually haven't. You're still a member of 19 of their lists. And there's separate lists that you'd have to separately unsubscribe to. So if you do an unsubscribe and you know you've done an unsubscribe and it's like, hey, I'm supposed to be unsubscribed, then take the time to blacklist them, ship them to spam. And then every time you get an email from them, it should go to spam. But again, you're still a member of like 18 other of their lists. So you may have to ship them to spam for a while before it actually stops receiving email from them.
There's two things. Number one, I use Outlook a lot. I'm not using, I don't go to Gmail, or I even though I have an account, but I'm not a fan, so everything is, I'm in Outlook. I got everything set up, folders, everything. Number one. Number two, yes, I do unsubscribe a lot of them, and I have a few of them that keep sending me every day, and they don't even have unsubscribe at the bottom of the email. Mm-hmm. I even sent that, hey, reply, because it says, hey, reply to this email. I reply to it 3-4 times, remove, still I'm getting emails. So it's annoying. It's like crazy,
And there's a setting that if you reply, that you can actually be subscribed to a list as well. So that's another trick.
Because I'm thinking that every time I click reply, I think they're resubscribing me.
Yeah, it's really frustrating. So the solution that you have is to mark them as spam, and just keep marking them as spam, because what's happening is you may be subscribed to several different lists of theirs. So technically, you've marked one of them, but now you need to mark the next one and the next one and the next one. And then every time you get an email from them, it will go into spam.
In Outlook, you can do the same thing. Right click on the email, and I don't see no spam.
It's been a long time since I've been in Outlook, so I can't remember exactly what you do, but there is a way to mark it so that it goes either into spam or even straight
Okay.
into trash. There's a way to do either one.
Yeah, I'll play with it. Yeah, that's fine. So you right click on the, not on the body, you right click on the subject or whatever, right?
Yeah, or even the from email.
From. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. So what did you think about this guy's email? The way he did his body, and Judy. Yeah, go ahead, Judy.
So when I was reading it, the fact that he put such a large amount in there is a turn-off.
Mhm.
Because, well, for me, I know that if I want to learn to do something, there's no way I'm going to earn that amount of money when I start off.
Right.
So that's a turn off to me to start off with.
Right.
And not having your name in there as well.
Mhm. I think the other thing that I see in this is that this is the type of email that's going to attract the people that want to make that $100,000 per month, and they don't really understand what it takes to make the 100,000. So what it means to me is that they'll come in and then they'll blow out, because it's just, you can't do it, you guys. You can't do it. I have never seen a single person without all the things in place come in and make $100,000. It's just not possible. So
Shelley,
go ahead, Davida.
I'm on Quora, and you would be surprised. I think more than half of the questions are, which is the top affiliate program that you can, and they all think you can go in and make $10,000 a day, and that's what they're expecting. They want the magic answer, and I'm like, there is no magic answer.
Right. I still get accused, believe it or not, I still get accused of not giving out all my secrets, which is so funny because I have no secrets. I give like everything away. There's not a single thing that I hide. But the reason they accuse me of that is because they're not having the same success that I am. But they don't understand that it's taken me a long time to get to where I am with Builderall, especially. I mean, we're running on 2 years with Builderall. And also there has to be a little bit of luck in there. There has to be a lot of things in this soup of success, right? The success to me is like a soup, and it's got to have like all the right ingredients plus a sprinkle of luck, and you're able to achieve that. But we also all know that if you just dump the ingredients together and just eat the soup right away, it has no flavor. It has no taste. So you have to let it kind of simmer a while to get a good, round, robust taste. And that's kind of, to me, the way success is. You have to take all those ingredients, put them together, and it takes a while to figure out how to make it all work so that you have that success. And even then, success is different to everybody, right? Success for me in the beginning was just finding a good app that can make mobile apps different than what I already had. That was a success thing to me when I joined Builderall, is yay, I have a new app builder. That's fantastic. Now I can add to the 2 that I already have, and I'm going to go to town making apps. Then I realized how strong Builderall was. So then I started to say, wow, okay, we can do way more than Builderall than just mobile apps. So now my goal is to earn, I don't know, $100 a week, right? Well, I hit that really fast. And then I was like, okay, now I want to make $1,000 a week. Well, I hit that really fast. So now it's just a matter of, I've done the 6 figures. Now I'd really like to move to 7 figures, right? Maybe 6.5 figures. That would be good. 6.5 figures. So the reality is that success for me in the beginning was as easy as $100 a week. That was great. That was good. That's $400 a month. That's good spending money. I could go eat out pretty nice or get a really, really nice Calvin Klein outfit. So it really depends on what your level of success is. To me, $10,000 a month is very doable, but it's because I have now a lot of things in place. I have an app business that's running. I have a Shopify store that's running. I have Builderall that's running. So $10,000 a month to me is like, yep, doing it, easy peasy. Why can't you do it? But the reality is it's not that easy, because it took me a long time to set those things up, a long time. So you don't want to give people the wrong impression, because what happens is lack of trust. And remember that thing, that KLT, We're trying to build a relationship. And when you're building a relationship, you can't lie to them, even in an email. So you won't see me, even if I'm making $10,000 a month, I'm not going to say, learn how to make $10,000 a month, because I know that there's a lot more to that than just saying it. There's a lot to do. So for me, that doesn't fit into that KLT model.
It's a learning process. It's like the bell curve. You start down here, you go up, and then you go back down, and why people think you're going to start up here and not have to learn how to do it. That's
right. And Kanan put a resource in there, you guys. Check it out if you get a chance. It's a Kick Butt Headline Generator. So check that out. It's in the chat. So copy it and paste it into a notepad so you can check it out. And thank you, Kanan, for sharing that with us. That's fabulous.
I just want to make some 2 words about that tag domain. It is, especially we digital marketers use that for giving training for the beginners, those who are coming into digital marketing sector, because creating the curiosity.
Yes.
What you should not do when you do this.
Yep.
Everybody will jump into. We are getting more openings on that. We're getting more chance of conversions on that. So how to make curious captions? Curious captions.
I think that's a really good point, because
So
if you create some kind of,
if you just go and dig around that, we'll get a lot of ideas. We can generate our own ideas. After that, we can create our own curiosity captions, which will give us more openings and more conversions.
Yep, I agree.
So
I think if you put some curiosity in there, it definitely attracts them, because they're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, in that, there is 2 methods there. Thing. Telling negative, bring them into jump.
Yep.
These are 10 steps you should not do in Buildroad. But you will come. Because all the people, those who are working in Buildroad want to do that. Those who are interested in Buildroad want to know what are the 10 things that you should not do.
And another thing, Kanan, when you say that, is the 10 things that you should not do. And then when you actually create that email and you write it out in the body, there better be 10 things that you should not do. There shouldn't be 5 things.
We have to make some captions, take them to, give a link and take them to the website landing page or whatever the case may be, where it will be described everything. Then only we are getting the conversion or traffic. Because we are getting a traffic. From the traffic, we are getting a lead. From lead, we are getting a conversion.
Yep. You want to be truthful in your subject. We actually looked at one yesterday. I think I mentioned it just a few minutes ago, where it said it was going to give you some kind of marketing idea or something like that. And we jumped into there to see the body. And it said, we've got the marketing information that you want, but you're not going to get to see it until next.
It should be related. It should be, everything should be related.
Oh my gosh, that should have been in there. That's almost like you're lying to the person, right? Like, I'm going to give you this information, but I'm not really going to give you this information.
Because creating curiosity is marketing. People should, because we need inquiries. If we discuss everything, they may come or they may go. We are not bothered about it. But if we create curiosity and make them come to us, they are getting an inquiry.
That's right.
From that inquiry, we are creating the lead.
Yeah, I totally agree. That attraction marketing has been very powerful for me, for sure.
Yeah, we should not discuss everything, but everything will be transparent. That's the second thing. But to get an inquiry, we have to make curiosity come to us. Ask me.
That's right. You're right.
That is the idea what I'm doing now.
Dominic, go ahead.
Could you do us a favor and put that resource in like the replay for us mobile users? Because I'm not able to do anything with that on my mobile.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Let me grab it and I'll put it in my notepad, and we'll make sure that gets into the resources. There we go. Consider it done, Dominic. That was an absolutely fabulous idea and a fabulous resource from Kanan. So let's take a look at a couple more emails, because there's so many bad ones and so many good ones. So we'll go ahead and go back to our inbox. And let's see if I can find the latest one from, oh, hey, that was making some money again, you guys. Yay me. I'm going to see if I can find the latest one from, Barbara Ling. She's one that I actually really like. She's very descriptive in her subject lines. This one is a little bit longer than normal, but it says 57 seconds, turn every image on your site into a shoppable image, increases affiliate commissions. And so let's click in there and see what she's got. Hers are usually really good. They've usually got a link at the top, a link at the middle, and then a lot of times a link at the bottom. And she tells quite a good story. She's a pure affiliate marketer. So she's got affiliate products. She talks about them. She does a really good explanation of what they are. So I know exactly what I'm getting with Barbara Ling. I'm not getting a whole lot of value as far as her teaching me or showing me or telling me anything, but she is exposing me to some good affiliate products that I've actually followed some of her links and actually bought products, because she brings good products to the table. She doesn't bring crap products. She actually sends out some really good products. So this one, it says, it does say howdy. It doesn't have my name. So that's a turnoff. So that's -1 point. But she says, want to turn every image on your WordPress site into a shoppable image. That's such a good line right there. It explains like everything that she's going to offer me in this email, right? She's going to be selling me a product that can make an image on my WordPress site turn into a shoppable image. That's pretty darn good. So I would probably be very okay with following through and reading about this product to get more information. And then if it was compelling enough, I might actually jump in and check out the sales page and see if it's something that I would actually buy. So to me, there's 2 dings that I would put on this. And that is, the first one, she didn't say howdy Shelly, and that's important to me to have my name in there. And then the subject line itself was a bit too long. So I would definitely shorten that up. Remember, I think, what did we say, 50 characters long? Try to keep it to that size so that you're concise to the point, and they know what's going to be happening inside of that email. So I'm going to go ahead and come back in and take a look at you guys, and you can tell me what you think about this email. What do you guys think? Input? Questions? Did you see it long enough?
She did a good job with putting the 3 links in there, one on top, center, middle, and bottom. So that was good, you know.
And if it was something like Cam's email where he's a storyteller, it wouldn't work, right? Because he tells a story, and then at the bottom is usually where we find that call to action or that link. So for Cam, no. For Barbara, we know we're getting affiliate marketing from her. There's no doubt. She's not really telling a story. She's not really trying to be anybody she's not. She's an affiliate marketer, and her whole goal behind you being on her list is she's going to share with you quality affiliate products. And you know that going in, right? There's no doubt about it. So for her, it's perfect. She's got top, middle, bottom. I expect that. And I also expect her to explain that piece of software or whatever that product is really, really well, so that I have a good idea before I go to the sales page what that product does. And she's on point every single time. So I'm sorry, I interrupted you, Gabriel. Go ahead.
That's okay. 2 questions I had. If she uses your first name and howdy first name, does that improve your deliverability rate, or is that the?
I don't think it does. No, I don't think it does.
So it doesn't matter if you use howdy or if you use first name, or obviously you don't want to say hello first name because they're not using
right, right. Or the biggest turn off, hello friend.
Yeah,
it's like, I'm not your friend.
I think that's a no-no, right? I think it's
right.
The other question I had, the way she used the links, does that improve your deliverability or whatever, or the chances not to go into spam? If instead of the link, you're highlighting 2-3 words and you put a link, you link those words, you know what I mean? You embed the link into the words, you know what I'm saying?
Right, so you have like a click here, and then the actual link is on the click here.
Exactly, you don't put the link actually. Is that a better?
I definitely would not put more than 3 links in an email. because once you put more than 3 links in an email, whether it's embedded in the text or it's an actual link, you're actually going to get hurt for that as far as reputation as well, because then it looks like you're just trying to throw, it's like spaghetti against the wall. Here's 52 links, just click one so I can increase my reputation.
Right. That's a
Yeah,
no-no,
it doesn't work.
But the
So
question is,
no
so
more than
is
3.
it better to put the link or is it better to do the embed? Which one is?
I don't think it makes a difference because it
No.
functions the same way, right? Even the long one is just text that's highlighted and the link is added.
Okay, so it doesn't make any difference with you.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I don't think it does at all.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Sure. Any other addition to that input? What do you guys think? No, kind of covered it. Okay, let's see if we can find one from Cam Jennings, because he's my favorite. I'm not sure if Pat Flynn comes to this email or comes to a different email, but we'll find a Cam. Let me look for it. Cam, he's a really easy one to find. All right, so here's a Cam Jennings and some more Cam Jennings. Let's see. Okay, so here's one from Cam, and it says lost content, legendary content, ... So I'm gonna go ahead and click that and see what he's talking about. So it says lost content, ? Legendary content. He actually always repeats the subject line on his first line. And then it says, want to know how to get people to remember your content way better and far longer than everyone else's. That is a fabulous line. To me, that's fabulous, because the very beginning of that email, I'm like, heck yeah, I want him to remember me. Of course I do. So I'm going to go down here and I'm going to read this message. I also love the way he breaks it up. Have you guys ever seen those emails that the text is like scrunched together? And I'm old, you guys. I'm like getting to the point where my eyes are just not the same. And when it's all scrunched, I have to like expand the screen and try to get to where I can see it better. And for some reason, Cam has figured that out. He's not even old, but he creates lots of spacing in between there and breaks everything up. Now, I will tell you that he has a really innovative way of creating his emails, and I'm going to show you how to do that in a minute. But I love the way he creates space. He also writes his emails like he's talking, right? So if you read through his emails, it almost seems like he's talking to you. So it again creates almost a personalized relationship with them, because you can almost hear him talking to you as you're reading the email. And then as you go through, he's also telling a story. I absolutely love that, where he's telling a story. He also, when he first started in internet marketing, he didn't have his own story yet, right? He was just starting. So he grabbed the success of other people and talked about it in his email. And he actually still does that. So you can see right here, he says, marketing legend Frank Kern once said. So he's actually using Frank Kern's position and authority to actually kind of bring authority to his email, which is fabulous. He does that all the time. And it's such a neat thing that he does. And again, as you read through, it is a long stinking email. He does long emails, but I promise you, they're always worth reading, because as you go down through, it's always value. It's always great information. It always makes you think about things in a different way. And again, it's like you're having a conversation with them, even though you're not talking to them. So it's absolutely fabulous. And then a lot of times when you get to the end, there's like nothing that he's selling. I don't know if he's selling something in here. Let's scroll down to the bottom and see. So we'll scroll, lots of stuff. Nope, he's not selling anything. No link or anything. He just says, P.S. if you're not already a member of my Epic Conversions private mastermind on Facebook, free for you, then you should go here and join. I'll get you in. And then right here, he's got ECPM. I think that was supposed to be a link, but it's not an active link. And then he actually gives you some pre-stuff, like anticipation stuff. He says, I'm going to be dropping some serious video content in that group over the course of the next month or two, all free for members. So he's really encouraging you to go ahead and join that Facebook group. And then, of course, at the bottom, we've got the company information and the unsubscribe. So to me, this is quintessential Cam Jennings. It's exactly how he does his emails. It's that way every single time. There's no fluctuation in what he does, right? He always tells a story. It's always a pretty long email, but it's always really fun to read because, again, you can just hear Cam when you're reading his stuff. And he's always giving value, even if it's not like telling you about a program that's available or giving you a free report. He's giving you value sometimes just to make you think differently. And that's another thing that I love. I've had a few epiphanies reading his emails. And if you've never had an epiphany before, read some of his emails and you will discover how fun an epiphany is, right? Where you are exposed to a way of thinking maybe that you never thought of before. You're like, oh my gosh, this just opened my brain up a little bit more to think about things differently. And Cam's emails do that. So I absolutely love this style. Now, for those of you that are like super busy and maybe you don't want to go through a long email like this is not going to be appealing to you. You want it short, sweet, to the point. Give me the link, give me the value. Let's just get going. But for me, the value actually is in this long email. If I read all the way through this is going to be something I'm going to get something out of. And I'm going to stop sharing real quick. He has talked about so many different things that I've never heard of before. One of them was called the Mandela effect. And has anybody heard of the Mandela effect? I never heard of it until I saw it in a Cam Jennings email. And what it says is some of the things that we grew up hearing and knowing, all of a sudden when we're an adult, it's not the same, right? It's not how you remember it. So there's people out there that have a theory that there's multiple universes, and sometimes we flip between universes, right? And between those universes where we were learning one thing a certain way, we flip to a different universe and it's slightly different. It's not quite how we remember it. Now, do I think that that's a real thing? I don't know. That's not for me to say. But it was actually very interesting to read that theory and hear about it because I'd never heard of the Mandela effect. So that was actually a really interesting idea that just kind of got my brain rolling. And he had several examples of the Mandela effect and was like, okay, so do you think you remember this as such and such? Well, it's actually this. And I was like, wait a minute, I do remember it as that. And now it's this? So he had some compelling information in that email. Again, do I think that the Mandela effect is real? My jury's out on that one. But it was a compelling email. And it was it was wonderfully written. And it was one of those that had no flipping offer at the end of it. None. It was just, let me write you a story about the Mandela effect. And it was absolutely fabulous and got me thinking. So I absolutely love his emails. I love the lives that he does as well. I'm in his Epic Conversions group, and he actually is a huge influence on my thoughts about how emails should be written and how you should create that attraction marketing. So you guys share with me what you think, because there's always difference of opinions, and some of you may not like those long story emails. So please share. Nobody is going to be seen as ugly or anything. Just share. We all want to hear it. Willie, go ahead. Sorry. Unmute yourself, Willie. We can't hear you. There you go.
Okay. To Davita, the magic sauce. This is the magic sauce right here. It's AHT. It's action, habit, and time. Mm-hmm. That's with everything. Mm-hmm. First, you always have to take action. And when you take this action, you have to make it a habit. Without the habit, you're going to get in to do something, then you're going to stop. Then if you make it a habit, mm-hmm. it's not because that you want to, it's something that you got to.
Yeah.
Then it's the time that you put into it. And if it's consistent, you will get a reaction from everything. And so what I had that, I was raising my head last time. And so that theory is something called age, getting old. When you tell, like, I can tell my son, he's 3 years old right now. I can tell him something right now. Don't run or you're going to fall. He's going to keep on running. Then he's going to fall. Keep on running. Then he's going to fall. Then he'll learn. You know what? Dad told me if I keep on running, I'm going to fall.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to slow down. And it's the same theory, but now you look at it a different way. You can see it from the inside and you can see it from the outside.
Yep, totally agree.
That is that theory altogether.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's too funny. Well, thank you for your input, for sure. And I'm very interested in your guys' thoughts about the Cam Jennings email. What do you guys think about it? Is that something, do you feel like you can emulate something like that, or do you want to do something totally different? Gabriel?
Yeah, that's, I was going to ask you and comment at the same time. I like that it's different messages resonate with different people.
Right.
So sometimes they like the long version, some people like the short version. So you have to have both.
Right,
you know,
I totally agree.
Kind of test it and see what appeals to people. Sometimes I send you a big love story, delete. But for you, it's like, oh my God, this is awesome. You know what I mean? But for a person, it's just gonna be like, hey, give me three sentences, bam, 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 boom, link. That's it. Oh man, man, Gabe, you are awesome, man. I love it how you kept it. It's like, what's the difference? It's the balance. People respond differently. That's number one.
And I think we've talked about this part of knowing your audience too. So if I'm sending stuff to maybe a bunch of doctors, I'm gonna have to be way different than Cam Jennings, right? Doctors are not gonna go through a long dissertation on the Mandela effect. So I have to be short, sweet, and to the point, and very, very official. You know, I can't make any jokes or anything like that. I have to be careful. So it's a very different audience than maybe the tribe. I say that, I don't use tribe very often, but the tribe that I'm building with Builderall, they know me already. They know I'm going to create this long, drawn out story. I'm probably going to have some punny stuff in there. I'm probably going to do, every third email is going to have an offer in there. They figured out my system already. And they either like it or they don't, right? I think in the beginning, you have to figure out what works for you. And so you may try the long and you're going to be like, yeah, the long's not working real well. Then you may try the short and you're like, yeah, the short's not working too well. And then you maybe try a medium and that's what works for you. So it really is a matter of trial and error in the very beginning.
Another thing, what I see is that sometimes to keep it balanced, give people just enough information, 2-3 sentences, and then give them a link. If you want to learn more, boom, and send them to your blog, and now give them the whole story. Now they can read as much as they want. But you give them enough over here to say, oh, I'm not interested, delete, or oh, I'm interested, click. So now you got both worlds. You satisfy both. Right.
Both. And that's a click that goes for you as far as reputation. The challenge in that one is keeping a blog up. I've got a blog, but it's not kept up. I'm like the world's worst. I should put my VAs on it and have them do it. They do my emails already for me, but I should have them working on my blog too.
I'm talking about when you keep a love story email and you keep writing and writing and writing, it's like forever. I mean, if I'm interested in what you're telling me right now, I'll take the time and read that love story in the email forever. I'll blow it up and I read the whole thing because I'm interested. But if I'm not, I don't know. I'm just delete because it's too much stuff.
Exactly. And part of that goes back to that KLT, right? Part of that goes back to that KLT. So the people that you have on your list, you need to work with them. and figure out how to create that know, like, and trust, so that if you do decide that the long email is the way you want to go, they already know you well enough, right? They figured it out that you're going to give them value. There's going to be incredible value in there. And whether you have an offer or not, they're going to want to get in there and see it. Pat Flynn does a lot of the same thing that Cam does, where it's a long email, but his is actually way packed with value all the time. There's just, here's this new program, check it out. Here's this new free thing, check it out. Here's a new report that I did, check it out. It's just absolutely nuts how much value is in Pat Flynn's emails. So it's funny because Pat Flynn is value, 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 long email. And then Cam is value to me in a different way, because it's thinking about things differently. And I love to be challenged in the thinking department. I think it's because I am challenged in the thinking department. But but anyway, I love his things because it makes me think harder, right? It takes me to another level of thinking, and that makes me feel good. Now, for my sister who doesn't like to think, she would hate Cam Jennings, and she would not be a part of his email list, because she does not like that. She wants the information. She wants it now. She wants to click, go to where she needs to go to sign up, and she's done. That's all she wants to do. Then she wants to sit in the hot tub for the next 18 hours. So it really depends on the people that are on your list and what they're expecting out of you. And the interesting thing is that you are the one that conditions them on what to expect out of you.
And the last question on that, back to what you just showed us. I really like that because it's readable. And I looked at it. It's the same amount of characters per sentence, per line. You know what I mean? So then your eyes are not going, you're not crossing your eyes. You're just, it's streamlined. It's just nice. It's beautiful. It's clean. And it's one sentence at the time and space. And he's using double spaces.
Yep.
I love that. Now, the question for you being the all the web diva, do you have a cheat sheet, a to-do or not to-do cheat sheet on when it comes down to email, do's and don'ts, whatever, to keep it?
I do actually. I do have like a do this and don't do that. And it's really, really old. So I'd have to go back and find it and see if I can pull it up. Because I used to do email classes before at the college, at our local college. So I'll see if I can pull that up, and if I can find it.
That's a good cheat sheet, a good starter. You know what I mean? Because a lot of these things, it comes with trial and error. By the time you figure it out, I'm gonna get old. So
right, I already am old. So there you go.
Thank you, Shelly.
I'll see if I can find it, Gabriel. Claude, I think you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I almost forgot, Shelly. Sorry about that.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. No, it's okay. It's cool. I enjoy listening. You know, I learn from everybody in the group, right? Yeah, look, emails, the great thing about learning about having different lists, right? Because different people respond to different things, right? Like for me, my favorite email artist is Russell Brunson and the guys at ClickFunnels, right? And he tells stories, he's funny, he's serious. And down at the bottom is where you'll see links, and you may see a video even, or, you know, a big image, but it's all the way at the bottom, right? Rarely do you see anything at the top. And another great one for me is when people blog and they start the email with the beginning of the blog, and then they have a link to read more, right? To drive traffic to that blog. Now I'm creating a blog, and the blog is going to be the top of the funnel, right? The blog is where people come in, they'll get value, value, value. They'll get articles that absolutely sell nothing, and then some articles will sell something. Good. And that will lead them out through my funnel, whether it has, you know, whatever landing page, you know, sell, upsell, OTOs, or whatever, and then put them into the email sequence. Mm-hmm. And so it just depends on the audience and what you're selling, right? Mm-hmm. To me, it's, you know, I respond to Russell because I'm an affiliate marketer. I'm a digital marketer. You know, right. I've used ClickFunnels. I'm a builder-all. I'm trying to become a builder-all ambassador at some point. So those are the types of things that I respond. But depending on what you sell, you know, You just have to be able to craft your message and I guess think out the box.
I think what you're saying, Claude, is exactly what I try to really express, and that is I cannot tell you how to write your emails, right? I can give you examples of definitely what I like and definitely what is a good practice, right? So good practice is to have it personalized, and good practice is to keep it simple, and good practice is to be concise, and good practice is to have a link in there so that you can start to increase your reputation. But as far as your voice, it's your voice, right? Your
and
voice.
It's your audience. It depends on your audience and your voice. So
That's
whoever
exactly
your customer avatar is, and you can have multiple avatars, right? You can have multiple customers, multiple people, different segments of people that you want to communicate with, and then you just are able to change your voice. And that's the great thing about being able to have different lists and different websites. That's why Builderall is so great, because you can do all of that for very inexpensive, and you can really test and find out what's best practices, But the best practices, Shelly, I'm sorry, the best practices apply across the board. It doesn't matter what your voice is or who your avatar is. The best practices that you're teaching us you can apply them, right?
Totally agree. But then that unknown secret sauce is your voice. And I personally don't even think it's a matter of your audience, even though you do have to speak to them. You do have to speak to them, but you have to speak to them in your voice, right? You have to be authentic. That's part of that KLT. And if you're not being authentic, they'll know. They will absolutely know, right? And there's some people that are very abrasive, right? I'm in another group where this person is very abrasive. He says like the F word every other word. He says, don't ask me any questions. If you want to know, you're going to go find the answer yourself. That is so totally different than the way I teach, right? I'm like, if you don't know, ask me a question and we'll try to figure it out, right? Very, very different. But I'm still a member of his group, because it's not that I don't like I don't like the F word. And by the way, the F word's in there. Don't look at the chat. But I don't like the F word. I don't like people using it very freely. And I don't like people to say, figure it out yourself, and trying to be that person. But I do think that down deep in between there, I'm hearing his voice, and he's not that abrasive. That's just the way he approaches things. And I can see the person in between all of those ugly words and the things that he does. So I think it's interesting, as long as you're being your authentic self. Who would have ever thought that I would have connected to a person that says the F word every other word, and all this other stuff, that I would have connected to this person and actually worked in business with him? But there's something about him and his authentic self that I connect with, because it's not just putting on a show. And you'll actually see people that you can tell they say the F word and all the other stuff because they're trying to be impressive to the people that think that stuff is cool, right? And it's not actually their authentic self. So I do think there's an important piece of that puzzle, which is, yes, you have to know your audience, no doubt about it, but always speak in your authentic voice, right? Be you. Don't be somebody that you're not. So if you're going to try to be like Russell Brunson, and this is painfully obvious when you're watching videos, right? It's obvious when you're doing emails, but it's even painfully obvious when you're doing videos and trying to be somebody else. And I have a perfect example. Liam did such a great funnel a while back. And I was like, ooh, I'm going to create that funnel. I'm going to redo that funnel. It was ridiculous watching me try to do all that hype stuff, right? And I went through and shot all the videos, and then I went back and looked at it, and I was like, oh my God, seriously, Shelly? I cannot believe you even tried to do that. But the reality was I'm not Liam. So I could do probably the same information, but maybe deliver it Shelly style, not Liam style, right? So that was actually a really important learning experience for me, because I do believe in the authentic self. And that was not being authentic Shelly. That was trying to be the inauthentic Liam.
It's not sustainable. When you're not authentic, it's not sustainable. You might be able to pull it off every now and then, but it's not sustainable. People will see through you and you won't have any staying power in this biz. So I agree with you 100%.
Right. Totally agree. It's if you want a short term, go ahead. If you want long term, be yourself. That's the way to do it. Before I get to you, David, let me address what's happening in the chat. Guys, be really careful. There's all different types of personalities in here, and we are accepting of every single personality. If somebody engages you in something that you don't like, just disengage. That's as easy as possible, right? And I have to tell you that I'm guilty too sometimes of engaging even when I shouldn't. But if you don't like what somebody's saying and you don't like what somebody's doing, disengage. It's not appropriate to keep going after somebody, and it's not appropriate to say things like maybe what's being said. So that's whatever's happening. I don't know because I don't see the private stuff. Just disengage. That's the easiest way to deal with it. And then if you guys have any issues, come to me and I will handle it. Okay? Got it? All right. Thank you. All right, David, go ahead.
F word. F word. F word. No. I was just, I don't know whether anybody here, right? I've been just listening there and it's very, very interesting. And thanks a million for everything, right? Do anybody ever look at your spam?
Oh, I do.
Do you ever actually? Yeah. Well, you're probably, how many here look at their spam? Not very many, right?
I love it.
You learn so much from it. Yeah. I was looking at mine earlier on today, and a lot of the people that I actually follow, they're ending up in my spam. And these are so-called, in inverted commas, gurus who think they know it all.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so what I'm trying to say is that here we are. Okay, I'm a beginner when it comes to email, but I'm trying to learn. You know, I honestly, I don't like email, but I have to, you know, listening to you, I have to get to like it, right?
Yeah,
I prefer video.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, that's another story. But the thing about it is, a lot of those lads, and they're coming up with these stupid headlines, right?
Mm-hmm.
On the subject matter, and straight away they should know that Google will zap them straight into that spam folder, and it grows so big. I'm like you, I have probably hundreds of thousands of emails in my spam folder that I never clear out, and it's probably choking up everything, you know. But you know, at the end of the day, we can learn from the spam folder, is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Very
I
much.
100% agree that you can learn from the spam folder. And I actually have, I join email lists a lot of times just to see what that person is sending out.
Yes.
Not even to get like the free thing that they're offering, but it's like, I want to see what they're fixing to send me and what their tone is, what their subject line is. I learned from all of that from beginning to end. And if you're going to be a marketer, that's what you're going to do, right, David?
Absolutely, yeah. Like a lad, you mentioned him there a couple of minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
And B, first name, D, second name, right? And I have, you just mentioned him, B, I hate him. I just don't like him anyway. And if he's there, well and good.
Oh, I know which one, Billy Dar,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, can't stand it. It's everything that comes out of that person's, oh man. And I unfortunately, I went for a couple of things with them and they're absolute rubbish, right? But the way they try to twist you around, they twist you a whole around. They learn to get in here. And that's what I'm saying about the spam. You know, the spams, you get in there and you have a look at them.
And you said a beautiful thing, David. You saw what you didn't like about this person.
Oh, yeah.
So the choice is either be like that and think that you're going to have a sustainable business, or don't be like that. And I'm choosing to not be like that. So I still have these emails. I think any of his products are worthy. I've bought some before, and they've just been crap and they've been abandoned, right?
Yeah, correct.
So I still get his emails, not because I like him.
No, because you will learn from it.
When I look at them, I'm like, this is exactly how I'm not going to do it.
Absolutely.
It's like teachers I've had in the past. I've had bad teachers, bad bosses. And I always look at it from the standpoint of, all right, Shelly, you got to work with this teacher. There's no choice. You got to work with this boss. There's no choice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to suck in everything so I can learn what not to do when I become a teacher or when I become a boss.
Yeah, but also, you know the chap from Australia that has the traffic generator in Builderall. The Australian chap, right? Really nice chap. Now he says there in his great piece of kit that he has, right? Use this powerful piece of kit very wisely, because he says it's dangerous. You can actually get right into people's heads, and that's what these feckers are doing. Sorry, excuse me. Sorry. That's the Irish way. It's the nice way of doing it.
The whole speech.
But that's what these people are doing, right? And they're using it in a bad way. Sorry.
Right, that's right. Look, he's turning red.
Shelley,
hold on just a second, Davida. Let me let Dominic speak. He's been like bits here.
Thanks.
I wanted to apologize to you and the rest of the class. Number one, I thought that was in a private message because I was going back and forth with somebody. Basically, I was politely asking him not to talk over you because here on mobile, it takes the screen away. I don't see the same thing you guys see on desktop. So I was trying to be polite.
Let me also share with you. I appreciate the intent for sure. But always remember that there's different personalities. There's different, people are different. And it's funny because when you're excited about something, there are people that they're just too excited and they can't hold it in. And I totally get that. So we're going to there's not a single person that's intentionally thinking, I'm going to speak over so that I can be heard and Shelley can't be heard. None of that's happening. All people here have really good intentions. So we want to make sure that at that level, we understand that people just have different personalities, and that's okay. And so I just want to diffuse the situation. And again, anytime you feel like the situation is getting out of hand and maybe you're in the middle of something that is getting a little crazy, disengage. That's the easiest thing to do. I take that back. That's not the easiest thing to do. It's the best thing to do. And I have to do that sometimes too, you guys, where we get into this sparring of words, and even nice, sweet little Builderall Diva wants to type the kind of things that would embarrass a sailor. But I have to control myself because none of that solves anything, right? It just escalates the problem. So disengagement sometimes is the best thing to do. And then anytime, if you feel like you are being attacked or there is a problem that needs to be addressed, you can always come to me. But we always want to make sure that everybody here feels safe and is ready to learn. And so that's kind of the idea behind it. So it's all good. We've got it all resolved now, right? And
not my normal vernacular. So just want to, I got to a point to where I was like, well, you know what? And
remember,
I was frustrated and I apologize.
Yeah, that's okay. And I don't think
that's not normal. That's not the normal Dominic. So
right. And again, I don't think anybody in here is trying to overtake the class. It's all personality. That's all it is. Okay. I think I froze. Hold on just a second. Am I okay? All right, guys. Davida, go ahead. Thank you.
Okay, I think I know what Eric was talking about because I kind of looked at the notes on the Facebook.
If you say it, I'm going to jump through there, and I don't know what I'm going to do, but I might have to sit on you, Davida.
I just said I think I know what he was talking about.
Good. So if you think you know, is it a good idea on Monday to be ready?
Yes.
Okay, there you go. That's what we need here.
Sort of at the end of the year, we're going to do some type of boot camp on it, right?
Oh, I'm sure we will. The possibilities for boot camps are unlimited with Builderall. I could boot camp until I die, right? All right, you guys, I don't have anything else to add. Today was just really a day that I wanted to go through the body. And then, of course, at the footer, you add the unsubscribe and you add the company information. You can also change in Mailing Boss that information down at the footer. So if you want to add more information, you can. And then if you want to add a signature, you absolutely can. I always sign mine with Shelly Turner, Builderall Diva. It's that simple. So it doesn't have to be anything terribly special. Willie, go ahead.
I'm setting up a Facebook page just for Builderall, and the title is "Get Whitelisted." This will give us like a head start to where you can. Everybody that's a member of that will get your email, and they go in, open it up. If it's anything that needs to be clicked, you can go click, and it'll give you like a head start. And that's what I was thinking about, and I'm doing that right now.
Fabulous. So have that ready by tomorrow, and maybe we can use that tomorrow to actually work on whitelisting this brand new domain that I'm going to have put up. Okay.
And I'm a part of Dominic's member groups too, and yours, and some other people's. And if I get it ready by 7 o'clock, I send it out, or I send it out overnight.
Awesome. And then tomorrow, if you've got all that ready, we'll just put the link inside the group, and we'll jump in there and join and work on getting that whitelisted. My guess is that we'll probably end up in spam first when we test everything. And then if we do something like your group, Willie, and everybody jumps in and whitelists and clicks the link and stuff like that, then it will probably result in right in front of our eyes, it starts to go into the inbox.
That's why I say get whitelisted.
That's right. That's the way to do it. Judy, go ahead.
So I just wanted to ask what you thought of the email. In the last company I was in, or a couple of companies before, I always had a photo of myself in the bottom of the email next to my name. And you said before not to put pictures in. So what do you think of having your photo?
I think that that's fine. I don't think there's any problem with it at all. My personal thoughts are I want mine plain text. And I just made money again. Yay me. But plain text, to me, it's easiest, and it's plain. I don't have to try to pull the picture in and make it work, right? And I have such limited time that I actually speak my emails into Google. If you go to Google Docs, there's a way, and I'll show you tomorrow. I don't have time today because I have to get on the Certified Partner Program meeting, but there's a way to speak your emails, and I'll show you that tomorrow. And you can speak the whole email out, and it types it out for you. And then I just send that to my VA and have her do all the capital letters and the periods and stuff like that. And then she puts it into Notepad, so it has no formatting. And then I pull it back in and put it into my email. So I will show you guys how to do that tomorrow, so you can speak it and then put it into your email, and it's ready to go. There's a little bit of editing because it doesn't add all the punctuation unless you speak the punctuation. So you have to remember, like, Builderall is awesome, period. Shelly Turner is awesome, period. Shelly Turner loves ice cream, comma, and peanut butter, comma, and you have to remember to do all that. So that's the drawback of it, but I'm lucky because I have a VA, so I can speak all of it and then send it to them, and they put all that stuff in there for me. So I'll show you how I do that tomorrow, and then we'll knock out the whole setup of the setting up an email, setting up the sequence, subscriber list, setting up the opt-in page. We'll buy a domain brand new. We'll send emails out. You guys can subscribe. We'll send the emails out. We'll see where they go. And then we'll see if we can condition that list to see if we can get into the inbox eventually. Okay?
So, Shelley, how much does it cost if you buy a domain name from Builderall?
I think it depends on what domain you get, and if it's a .com versus like an obscure .services or .inc or .tv, like that. I do have GoDaddy. That's where I get all mine at, and I like that better because when you buy the domain from Builderall, the drawback is you don't have a control panel yet. They've been saying they're going to get one, but they haven't done it yet, and I haven't heard that we're close to it yet. And I love having the control of my domains so that I can point those name servers or pull them back if I want to. And I can also sell a domain if I want to. If you go to Flippa, Flippa, Flippa.com, you can actually buy and sell domains. And so if you've got any good domains that you're ready to dump off, you can actually sell them there. Willie, really quickly for me.
I go to 101 and most of my domains I can get for $1, and it's already SSL approved, and you get one free email.
Good. Yeah, 1&1 is actually really good too. I used to use those, but I'm now at GoDaddy and I have the frequent flyer discount. I actually joined a club, and that club I pay for it every year, but I don't even know how much. But what it does is it allows me to get extreme discounts on my domains. So I get really, really good discounts, and I've got close to 100 domains now. I think it's 75 or 80, not sure, but somewhere around there. But do it however you want. If you want to connect to Builderall, you can and get it through Builderall, but you won't have that control panel to be able to control any of your records. Okay. All right, I have to cut it short today. I apologize. 10 minutes, I'm going to be meeting with my certified partners. So I will go ahead and let you go for today. Your homework is to check out the videos that you've missed if you missed any. And tomorrow we're going to do the fun stuff. We're going to create an email list from scratch and see what happens to those emails when we set them up. I'll have pre-made emails, so I'll show you exactly how I pull them in. I'll also show you exactly how I make them so you can see how that Google tool works. And we'll probably be on for a while tomorrow because it's going to take a while. But who wouldn't want to spend their Saturday with me?
I still got to make my videos for my course for Skillshare.
Awesome. So keep doing that. Definitely keep that going. All right, guys, let me go ahead and go. This has been fabulous. Once again, I appreciate all of you guys being here, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great, great Friday. Okay?
Thanks, Shelly. All the best. Night. Look.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Hi, everybody. Bye.
Look.
Bye, guys.
Night, John boy. Night, Maria.